So I'm out today. My car is back there. I don't know if you can see it, like right in the distance there. I'm out in the woods because I should be. And I was sitting thinking about doing this for like a couple of hours this morning, just umming and ahhing about whether to get out. But I thought, no, I shall get out, get some air, get some exercise, and just see what happens. So I've come out for a walk, and we used to live in this sort of area. There's a big opening and it's very muddy, and like there's nobody around at the moment. I've got my son with me who's there, and we just thought it'd be nice to get out, get some fresh air, because I've been doing a lot of mindfulness recently. I was doing a course in mindfulness, and last week I found out that I'd passed with a distinction. So I now possess a mindfulness diploma. So I'm trying to put that mindfulness practice into practice. So coming out for a walk and just being mindful of my surroundings and mindful of the way my body feels and all that kind of stuff. Just being in the present moment and enjoying it for what it is. So I'm out. And it took a lot to get out this morning. I was thinking about it, umming and ahhing for a good couple of hours. It's very peaceful. It's nice to hear the birds singing, at one with nature and all that jazz. It's quite amazing how, like, I've been using the treadmill now and again and doing a few bits like messing about in the garden and that, but it's so different to when you actually come out, like walking up that hill. I can actually feel it in my legs already. I've not been out long, but I suppose it's a good thing. My face is freezing even though it's not actually that cold, but it's just nice being out and about. I've had a few moments where I felt, or maybe not felt, but thought about anxiety, which is annoying because I'm trying not to, but that's probably the problem, isn't it? I'm trying not to think about it. I'm trying not to think about a pink elephant right now. Gotcha. It's nice to be out. I know I'm safe. There's no danger here, well, apart from wild animals, I suppose. There might be a few, but it's peaceful. I suppose the idea behind me doing this is hopefully to maybe motivate somebody else to get up, get out, but you might not have access to this kind of area. Maybe you live in a city or whatever, but there's always quieter places that you can go. Just take yourself away from the normal surroundings. I really don't suppose it would matter where I was. I'm out of those four walls, and that's the important thing. You know, if this video helps somebody who's sitting there thinking, oh, I'd really love to get out today, but I just don't think I could make it, or this, that or the other, those negative thoughts that stop you from trying. Like, I'm here, I'm doing it, I'm out. And I was procrastinating and thinking about it and feeling negative and what if. But I'm here now, I'm doing it, and I'm a fair distance from the car, but that only comes to my mind when I actually say it. Other than that, I weren't thinking about it. Let's carry on. I've just had a mini panic. Basically, I walked up a really steep hill back there. You know the bit that you could see just that I showed you down? And it was all about breathing. Like I was getting myself back up the hill and I could feel that my legs were struggling to just lift myself up the bigger steps, which is silly because I know that, you know. But then I got to the top and then I was really focusing on my breathing. Like it's still there now because I'm talking, but it felt like I just couldn't get enough air and I was really, and it was horrible. But it felt like my air was filling my chest and not like abdominal breathing like we say that you're supposed to do. But then I just stood for a minute and it did kind of pass, although I'm still thinking about it now. But that was intense. It's made me think. I don't know what it's made me think, but it's made me think obviously negatively. And I've completely come out of the confident frame of mind that I was in and ended up freaking out of it. Like as soon as it happened I thought to myself, shit, how far away is the car? What am I going to do? All those normal thoughts like, shit, I'm going to panic here. I've only got my son with me. I'm getting out of breath. You know, what am I going to do? But then I just like, in my mind, just said to myself, well, let's be honest, there's fuck all that I can do right now. Deal with it. That's what I've got to do. And I did. So, although it was a horrible moment, I didn't fully panic, but I was so close to, I don't know what I was going to do. It was those, like, what am I going to do? I'm stranded. But I'm now almost back at the car. And it's, I suppose you've got to be positive, haven't you? But there's a bit of a negative result at the end, which is disappointing. But I'm here at the end of the day. It's really tired me out. It's weird. Like my legs just didn't want to get me up that hill. Let's go home. So, I'm home. And that was horrible. My left arm is numb. And I don't know whether that's because of the panic or what. I wish I'd have had my camera on me, but the camera was in the drone at that time because my son had walked round. Let me tell you what happened. He'd walked round, he'd walked to the top of that hill bit, and he was going to try and get me walking up the hill. But the drone weren't working for some reason. There's like a factory not too far away, and whether there's some kind of interference, it was saying that it couldn't get a GPS signal, so it was a pain in the arse. So I just decided, well, I'm going to walk up and see what's wrong with it. But as I was walking up the hill, like it was just a mud track, and there was bits where it was really steep going up, and there was this one bit where I had to really stretch my leg, my right leg, to try and pull myself up this big gap, and I did, but I just felt like my leg was jelly. Whether it's because I haven't walked that often, you know, wherever it's been. Yes, the treadmill's walking, but it's very different to actually getting out and walking up and down hills and through mud and different terrains. So I pulled myself up this bit and it just felt like jelly, and then I didn't feel crazy bad until I got to the very top, and then like I noticed that my breathing was a bit, I was struggling to get, it felt like, enough air, even though I was. But like just thinking about it now is making me feel fucking weird, and that is horrible. But then like I just stood there for a minute, and then it was just getting more and more intense, and I put my hands on my head like this, and I just thought, shit, what am I going to do? Like the car's too far away for me to run back, but if I run back I'm going to be even more out of breath. Like, what am I going to do? And it was just that panic, it was those escalating thoughts. help. What am I going to do? I'm going to collapse. If I do collapse, what the hell's going to happen? I'm going to pass out, like I can't get enough air. Help. But I didn't say anything. Like, my son knew that I was freaking out because he could tell. But I didn't do anything. And I think that's maybe the reason that it didn't escalate to a full, whether it was a full panic attack or not. Maybe it was, but it was just quite short-lived because I didn't add more to it. I didn't like start that run back to the car. I think that was probably the escape, was running back to the car, or at least heading back to the car. But I just stood for a minute. I just stood there and just like accepted it. Maybe accepted that if it was gonna happen, it was gonna happen. But nothing did happen, and then we slowly walked back to the car, and I was getting out of breath still and that. So it hadn't really passed. It had shook me up, and the thoughts were still there, but the fact that I managed to just stay, hold, don't run back, just wait for a minute, let you get control of your breathing, and then start heading back. So I guess it's a small win. It doesn't feel like a win right now, because all I'm thinking about is that brief, whether it was like 60 seconds, that sort of overshadowing the half an hour or 45 minutes or whatever it's been that we've been out. And that's the disappointing thing. But I don't know, as long as it doesn't deter me from doing it again, that's the thing. I don't know. We'll see what happens, man. That was rough. I mean, it might deter me temporarily, but it won't deter me full stop. I will keep pushing because I'm not prepared to live inside this house anymore. I'm just not. Or in the car, because that's where 99% of my life is spent, either in the house or in the car. I'm not after sympathy here with this video. That's not the idea. This is about sharing the real struggles and the real crap that we have to put ourselves through if we want to try and beat this. So I've got to keep pushing, man. And I don't know what I'm going to do next. Maybe it'd be a good idea to go and try and do that again, and do that hill. And be prepared this time, maybe, because I didn't have any water with me. I had a bottle of Sprite with me, but that's not a great idea when it's like blasting me with sugar at the same time. I don't know. I don't know the answer, but the answer is definitely not to give up. The answer is to try again and just keep doing it and keep doing it, because there will come a time where I realise and accept that being out of breath like that is not going to harm me. I didn't die. I didn't collapse. I didn't pass out. Although I felt like I was going to. I didn't. I'm still here. I've been home for about half an hour now, and it's got me thinking like maybe I should just put this final thought for today on. And there's like two things, and the first one being, if I was still smoking, how long would it have taken me to gain control of my breathing? Because although I lost control of it when I got to the top of the hill, it didn't take that long for me to be able to sort of not manage it, but just accept that that was enough breath. It was kind of like, I don't know, 60 seconds to 2 minutes of just feeling completely out of control and like freaking and panicking because I can't get enough breath, I'm going to collapse. But then within that time, it started to ease. Whether that was because my lungs were a bit clearer, maybe, being off the cigarettes, I don't know. It's possible. But the other point that I wanted to make is, like, I was absolutely fine going up the hill. That's what's annoying. It's like as soon as I reached the top of the hill, that's when it started. That's when the thoughts started. As if, like, my thoughts were that focused on getting to the top of the hill. I didn't really notice that I was getting out of breath going up there at all. It was like I reached the peak, the summit, and then all of a sudden, I'm gasping for air. Really, really strange. Maybe it is down to the focus. Like, because I weren't focusing on breathing while I was going up there. I was focusing on putting one foot in front of the other and pulling myself up this hill. And then when I got to the top, the challenge was sort of over. So that's when the mind began to race. That's what I'm thinking. It's like 90% mind, 10% physical. Again, that's how it feels right now looking back. But we'll push on. I feel not as disappointed as I did when I first got home, so fuck it. We move on. We have to.